Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. What's up with my shirt? There we go. All right. Thank you for watching or tuning into this week's read, Gemini. There's a lot of, I'm already all over the place. What's up with that? The main tarot is going to be Chakra Wisdom Tarot by Tori Hartman. Supportive Oracle cards. The Spirit Animal Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. It's not a bad energy, but I'm already bouncing all over the place. 1, 2. Okay. Gemini. Ooh, this might be really good for you. I like that card for Gemini. That might be very exciting for you. Let's see. Let's get through it and find out. I like the energy coming right into it. Is that Wolf Spirit? Oh, that is. You have Wolf Spirit. It says, turn knowledge into wisdom. Otter Spirit, you're never alone. All right, so Wolf Spirit definitely speaks of teacher to me. So that makes sense, what they have there. That totally makes sense. Otter feels there's a lot of love feeling there. There's literally a heart there. So coming into this, I almost feel like that's starting off with advice. Don't feel trapped like you're all by yourself. Talk with other people. See how other people are feeling. Putting yourself out there a little bit more and showing your poker hand to the point where you can, showing your poker hand a little bit more than you normally would, but not to the point where you're putting yourself behind the 8-ball. You know what I mean? That could really change things and turn things around. Maybe give somebody a chance that you normally wouldn't gravitate towards. You might end up getting some extra information that you didn't know. This could be very good. Don't feel like you're trapped and that you're all by yourself. Be careful not to feel trapped and alone. Get out there, talk to people. You have a lot of different ideas on how to do that. I feel like no matter what I say, you could still find other ideas that I could never even consider. So you know how to get out there is what they're telling me. Don't let yourself be trapped. Communicate where you find you can do safely. You may have a work problem and you have another organization you're a part of. Talk about your work problem somewhere outside of that realm that it can't come back and hurt you. Stuff like that. There's something going on here where somebody's leaving you out of the picture. And I feel like that's, again, why you might be feeling all alone. Feeling trapped. Love is around you, or you're never alone. But the fact that it says that makes me feel like you're kind of having that feel that you are alone. Somebody's leaving you out of the situation. Somebody's trying to cut you out of the situation. But I also feel like you're not the only person that's gone through this with this person or this situation. Talk about it to somebody else outside of the situation if you have to find out what you're experiencing, and if is it just how it goes, or is it some type of manipulation or possibly bullying of some sort. Because somebody is trying to cut you out of the situation. I'm also getting the 7 of Coins with the King of Swords. Somebody's controlling this situation very strongly, and I feel like they're giving other people a hard time about telling you things. Really? This seems like it's a perpetual motion. This has to change. This is not going to work. This energy would not work for most people, let alone a Gemini. And I'm saying that cutting off communication and cutting off your information source. Yeah, but you're Gemini. You can find different ways to find information. You're going to have to, you have to start working around the situation. You have to find ways for people to talk to you where they don't feel like they're going to have to deal with this negative energy. Because there's somebody here that's very controlling, very manipulative. Have you been hanging out with so-and-so? Have you been hanging out with that Gemini? What have you guys been talking about? You better watch it. You hang out with that Gemini, you're not going anywhere in this situation. I'm getting that's the type of energy I'm catching into right now. It's really nasty. I know it's a general read, but that's what I'm connecting to. For whatever reason, I'm letting it go. Work around this. You're Gemini. You see a lot of angles. You can find another way to do this. You definitely can. You got to get out there. You got to find a way to communicate. Even if it's somebody away from the situation totally, you communicating and letting your feelings and thoughts flow opens more doors in your own mind, and you're just like, now that I'm saying this out loud, I could do that. Now that I'm thinking of that, I could do this. You need to communicate with someone. It seems to free up your mind. It gets the juices flowing. It gets that freedom. It gives you some spark, and you're going to find a way out of this. That's definitely what I'm feeling there. This is not an ally. The person is who the person is. Whoever this King of Swords person is who's trying to cut you out of the situation, trying to leave you out in the cold, they are who they are. There's no fixing that. But there is working around that. There is distracting that. Another way to do this is finding, putting their sights on something else, which, sooner or later they're going to do that anyway. So I don't know how you feel about that. This energy is what this energy is, though. Something's going on with this energy, though. You're smart. Gemini is smart. I've noticed some people don't think Gemini is smart. Because sometimes, you go in so many different directions and you talk about so many things that people can't keep up. Instead of realizing you're talking above them, they just think you're talking nonsense. Does that make sense? It probably does. For the Geminis who experience this, I think you know what I mean. You're very intelligent, but sometimes you put too much out there at once, and if people can't follow, instead of them realizing you're talking beyond their means, they just think you're talking gibberish, as if you're just foolishly saying things. It's a weird thing, but control your communication, and I feel like you might be able to point out to the right people who this person is and what they're doing. You might have to do that. This might be an unsavory moment in the sense of maybe you have to call in somebody else to deal with this person. Because what they're doing, you're not the only person they've done it to, and they keep causing problems. And you're Gemini, you're smart, you're very smart. You can find your way to get in there and start, because you have to find a way to make an impact. And you can't just go forward head on. You gotta, find your allies, find your way in, find a way to get around it. Present the information. Be very aware of the person you're talking to, what they can handle and what they can't. How much can they absorb of what you're telling them and how much can't they? You may have a plethora of stuff you can hand them, but if it could be like handing them a junk drawer. To them it's just a bunch of gizmos and bibobs. They don't know what to do with that. You might be one of those things be aware of this person. This does this. This does that. This is what's going on here. This is why you connect these three together this way, and look what you have. You have something that you can actually use. This is now a tool. Be aware of who you're talking to. You know what I mean? Don't just hope that they're smart enough to follow. You might have to talk it through and really spoon feed it to get this to move forward. Because when I'm getting with the King of Pentacles, the eel here, this talks of repercussion to me. This says bring your ideas to life, but this talks to me like repercussion. Like you step in that water, you don't know what's in there, and that eel nails you. You're going to feel it. It's not going to be fun. I don't even know how deadly they are. I have no idea. Literally no idea. But I'm getting the Hermit card is this person is headed for a problem. The Hermit card with it is, this is the person taking care of it that does not want to be seen. They want to keep this private. They want to get control of the King of Pentacles, which is not an easy task. But it's the Hermit card. That's Major Arcana. Major Arcana in the court suits, that's if there's somebody who's it's a Major Arcana could challenge a king. I'm just saying. So this energy does match, but they want to take it carefully. They want to handle it behind the scenes. But I do feel like there's very strong repercussions here. I know I've said this a lot. For some of you watching, maybe you need to be reminded of how smart you really are. Maybe that's why I keep saying it. Some of you know. Others of you might be doubting yourself at the moment. But watch. Watch when you start pushing this forward. Even though it's happening behind the scenes, that's the beautiful thing about Gemini. You see the subtle changes. You see the subtle nuances. This person's going to start acting differently. They're going to stop handling things. They're going to push that over there. They're not going to handle this anymore. They're going to start treating people a little differently, and you're going to know why. Watch how it keeps playing off. Watch how this person gets a lot nicer. Watch how they leave you alone for a while. Whether they know you're the one that did this or not, it doesn't matter. Because I feel like your life is going to get a lot better, and a lot of other people are going to have a lot easier time with this person too, and be very thankful for that. The Ace of Wands then comes in. The King of Coins does not seem to be a problem anymore. Does not mean the King of Coins is gone. King of Coins, King of Pentacles, however you want to see that. I'm not convinced that person's gone. And don't get caught up in the gender, but whoever that is doesn't mean they're gone. But the Ace of Wands is telling me that you have a fresh outlook. You might, if this is a job thing, you might change departments. If this is a family or friend situation, you might be hanging out with people who the King of Pentacles can't stand up against for whatever reason. So you might change how you're handling or who you're hanging out with and when you're hanging out. Like, I know some people, like when it comes to holiday parties, like a certain time of year the same party happens. I know people who have removed themselves from certain parties because it's always stressful, and they create their own parties or their own events or their own traditions. That might be what you have to do, and that might be very successful for you too, by the way. Whatever the problem is, this King of Pentacles, don't get caught up in the gender, but they're going to feel it. And they're going to be under the gun for a while. They're going to be under scrutiny for a while. I don't see them being able to hurt you anymore or cause you problems. They already did their worst. I feel like they already did their worst. After this energy is moving on, though, this is your opportunity to really look at what you have. You got the High Priestess and the Temperance card. Things are going a lot differently after this. After that energy is kind of squashed, might not be gone, but squashed, whatever that means, it's like it's not as strong anymore. I feel like it got demoted. I almost feel like the King of Coins became the Page of Coins, which is a dramatic difference. Take it slowly, but pay attention to what's around you. This is the card I was talking about, the Seven of Cups at the beginning. I love this card for Gemini. Possibilities, seeing those possibilities, but also having the ability to choose one. Look at now at what you have. Now that this has changed, now that the situation has changed around a bit and you're more free and you're getting more information, look at what you have. Take your time to absorb all the information you want. But once you decide, don't give yourself too much time. Once you start seeing a good option, after you've come across 3 good options, choose something. Don't go past 3. Don't get caught in a quagmire of just living for the possibility. Oh, that could happen, or oh, that could happen, and just keep researching possibilities. Don't get caught in that quagmire. Get yourself 3 possibilities, and then choose something. Even if you have to, write them down on a piece of paper, if it's 1, 2, 3, or if it's 1 or 2, it's this possibility. If it's 2 or 3, it's this possibility. I'm not saying this right. If it's 1 or 2, this possibility. 3 or 4, it's this possibility. 5 or 6, it's this possibility. And just roll the dice and go with whatever the dice hit, if that's what you got to do. But give yourself 3 options. When you get those 3 good options, choose something and move forward. Don't let it just be like this quagmire of possibility. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Because you're going to keep finding them. You will keep finding them. Once you got 3 good ones, roll the dice. Choose something. Go forward. Make sure you take advantage of this moment. The fact that you got this person out of your way, enjoy it. Capitalize on it. Make this something. Make it become something. I know I've said this a lot, but I'm going to say it one more time. You're going to get to this part, and you're going to love this part because you've got so many possibilities. You're going to be living for it. You're going to love it. So many possibilities, but they're going to keep coming forward. Don't give yourself the 3 best. When you see 3 really good ones, force yourself to choose one of them, however you have to do that. So that way you can actually move towards something and have something tangible to enjoy. I don't know. I just feel like there's a danger of a quagmire there. Just be careful. Otherwise, I feel like it's a bad situation going into a good era. It's just, don't just get into this good spot and just kind of spin your tires. Get some traction and move forward. Good? Good. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.